Okay. The real question people come to a place on in their photography is that once they've mastered the camera, then what? And it's like, well, nobody ever masters the camera. It's like, yeah, I can teach some goof how to memorize the camera manual. They'll know every little button on there to sniff and touch and pet and stroke within, a week. You can teach people how to memorize gigantic, religious literature. What good is that? What are you going to do with it? So learning your camera, it's like, well, that's not right. Nobody else ever says that. It says learning the camera is hard. No, learning the camera is easy. What's hard is learning what to do with it. And you take anything, and if you really want to improve your photography super, super fast, obviously I've said before, a serious, hardcore, easy way of improving your photography is to get out of puss mode, stick your camera in spot meter, because you'll be your best teacher. You can't pay someone $100 an hour to go out and teach you, photography. Or maybe you can afford it. Most people can't. Stick your camera in spot metering, and this isn't the point here. I'm getting to the point. And, aperture priority, spot metering, start failing. Well, I've already mentioned that 100 times. Well, that's true. Now, here's the important point that people don't consider. And that is you're not realizing what is potentially there instead of what is actually there. Some of you master the camera and know how to conquer the speed light. Like, I read the owner's manual 10 times, and I know exactly what to do. I know how to properly expose this thing, and I've always nailed the exposure, and I've always nailed the autofocus, which nobody ever really does. But you could teach someone how to do that, but that is not an art form. That is like teaching someone how to mix paint and how to prep a canvas, but that doesn't teach anybody about how to paint a damn picture, does it? What about the composition? Well, there's some people that are really good at reproduction. They found out a lot of the ancient masters were using prisms, and they were using, I forget the name of the viewfinder. Anyway, it's even an iPhone app now. It's on my iPhone. I forget what it's called. It lets you look at what it is you're painting with one eye and paint with the other eye, so you can make just perfect reproductions. It's like, wow, he's a good painter. No, he's a good reproducer. He's just seeing what he saw with his eyes. And if you're doing that in photography, you're making some serious mistakes, because what you can see with your eye has nothing to do with what the hell this thing could do. Nothing. Well, where do I position it? Illumination, definition. I mean, do I want to blast it, with light and, turn it into this lifeless snapshot? That's perfect. And then you got no definition between the specular, the diffuser, midtone, and the shadow. It's got no, it has no illuminative depth. I'm not talking about render depth or perceptual depth, which are optical and electrical, but, no compositional depth. Well, if you want to improve your photography hardcore, I mean, you only have to learn one new trick every month, like a different way to illuminate something. Master it, just learn that one trick. It's like, well, that's trick number 2, trick number 3. After a year, if you got 12 tricks under your sleeve on how to illuminate something in a unique way, it's like, well, I've learned how to use a speed light off camera at this angle to give definition, because like that tattooed freak said, and it turns out he's right, any speed light on top of a camera is dead, lifeless light. You got to get it off there. Why? Because angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. And this is dead and lifeless. And this is character. It's the same reason why noonday sun sucks ass and morning sun or evening sun is awesome. It gives definition. It gives saturation. It gives specular clarity to subject isolation for, specular, midtone, shadow. Makes it pop. It makes it look alive. It makes it jump out of that two-dimensional picture, either on your screen or on the printout. Okay, so I've mastered that. That's step number 1. Okay, step number 2. Next month, I'm going to learn how to master a diffuser. Okay, so now I'm going to know how to apply diffuse values and power, intensity, location. Okay, if you've done only one a month, that's like learning a new trick. You could teach a dumb dog that licks its balls. If a moron could teach a stupid dog actually, an idiot can teach a stupid dog several new tricks in a month. At least a good one can. I mean, as a human, can't you learn one trick a month? After one trick a month, after a year, you'll have 12 tricks up your sleeve that will let you see this thing not as your eyeballs see. Your eyeballs go, I see that. It's like, well, screw you eyeballs. I'm interested in not what you see, but what this sees. Mind's eye. This is where 90% of photography occurs. It's not in the camera. It's not in the speed light. Well, sure it is. It's my expensive camera. It takes great pictures. Yeah, it takes great pictures, you idiot. It's about making great pictures. Oh, yeah. Because all you're doing is using some high-priced gear to take some point and shoot. Click! Look at that. Click! Oh, isn't that fascinating? You got to perfectly illuminate. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's in focus and it's sharp. Yeah, but is it artistic? What? It's called an art form. People pay for things that shock and awe and, are inspirational. They tug at a nerve here or up here. Not here. Your eyeballs only see stuff. They don't interpret anything. Your eyeballs have no idea what a pretty picture is. No idea. Not a pretty picture. Interesting, unique, intriguing, whatever it is that you're going for a composition. You only have to learn one trick a month. But you have to do is you have to see with this instead of with this. You can't just look at something and like, was that an interesting picture? Stop listening to your eyeballs. Stop listening to your eyeballs. Your eyeballs are liars. Your eyeballs are liars. It's like, well, the camera's about photography. It's about what you see. No, it's about what you can create. I'm going to shoot this thing, not in noonday light, but I'm going to wait till it gets like dusk. I'm going to expose for the background. I'm going to give some diffuse illumination over here, and this thing's going to go pow. That's something somebody wants to see. It's like, oh, that's an awesome photograph. That's right. You know how I took that? How did you take it? Because I saw something with my eyes, but then my brain said that, well, that's not so very interesting, but I am going to, I know how to manipulate light, because one of the things that makes a professional photographer is light manipulation. You either bring it, manifest it, or you can sit there like a moron up in a tree stand waiting for a deer to come by. You can stalk the great light, which is why people go out early morning, late evening. They stalk the light like a hunter. This is why when it comes to beautiful locations, you ain't seeing the photographers out there at 12 noon. You're seeing the douchebags with a camera out there at 12 noon taking pictures. But the photographers are only there early morning, late evening. That's one of the easiest ways to determine whether someone's a pro or not. You find them one of the most beautiful places on earth. You see who is there early morning, late evening, and then anybody that's there between like 11 before noon, or like 4 p.m. Anybody that's in there between that nasty, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. light, those are the idiots. It's like, well, they got an expensive camera and a big lens, so what? So what? Screw them. You have to be able to, tell your eyeballs to shut the hell up and listen to your brain. Some people can't do that. They're not creative. They can't see what isn't there, It's like giving someone a sheet of paper. And, it's like, well, I can make paper. Well, that's good. I work in a paper factory. That's great. Can you actually write anything somebody wants to read? No. But I can make great paper. Yeah. I mean, how simple is that? It's like that's the most difficult thing in the world for people to grasp. You gotta tell your eyeballs to shut the hell up and listen to your brain. Your eyeballs see one thing, it tells you, I see something over here, and your brain goes, okay, I see you, Mr. Eyeballs. I see what you see, Mr. Eyeballs. Now I'm going to do something else with it. I can see what this could be. It's kind of like looking at somebody looking at a hunk of wood. Your eyeballs, I see a hunk of wood. Your brain goes, shut up, eyeballs. I see a beautiful statue of a naked chick. And your eyeballs are going, oh, you're smoking crack. I don't see anything but a hunk of wood. Your brain goes, well, I'm going to tell the hands how to do something with some tools, and we're going to carve out a hot naked lady out of that wooden statue. You're crazy. I only see a hunk of wood. You know, your eyeballs and your brain are competing. If you've got any sense, that is. Some people only, it's what they see is, I'm looking for a pretty picture. I'm looking to make a pretty picture. I see something interesting. Well, I see something interesting everywhere here if I apply my brain to it. All I have to do is apply the right exposure with the unique sort of illumination. This is the most important lens in your camera. That isn't a lens, that's a speed light. No, this is the most important lens in your camera bag. Because your lenses are slave and puppets to this. I don't care how expensive your lens is a piece of shit compared to this. This is your main lens. That's not a lens, that's a speed light. It runs on batteries. You're smoking crack. Yeah. Am I now? You go out there with your expensive lens, and I'll go out there with a cheap lens and a speed light, and I will pound you every time. Always thinking about light. Like, here's an idea that I had that no one else ever thought of. It's a capiz shell. It's a type of oyster shell. It's translucent, and this makes beautiful, very, very interesting light. And some people have shot with this, they've shown me test pictures. Like, I knew immediately it's a capiz shell because it's got unique light. When you drop a speed light through a capiz shell, it's like, whapa! Something magic happens. There is a unique angelic light that comes out through a capiz shell. There's no diffuser out there that matches what a capiz shell does. And these things are cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. How cheap? Really cheap. Like 40 cents. Even cheaper than that. I mean, if you buy like 10 of them, they're like a nickel, I think. Thinking out of the box. Gotta be thinking about light. And tell your eyeballs to shut the hell up. It's your brain that is doing the photography. Your eyeballs take pictures. Your brain makes pictures. And when you learn that crap and get that between your damn ears, that fact, and look at what I just said in the past 10 minutes, there is not one single professional photographer on earth that will disagree with anything I just said. Ask any of them, say, watch this video by this fat dude, see if you agree. They will all agree with me. They might say I'm a jerk or something like that. I don't care. I don't give a damn what they say. They can say all that. They say, is any of that wrong? No, it's 100% accurate. I don't like the guy, I think he's a jerk, but it is 100% accurate. You got that? Period. You're being awful confrontational. I don't like you like that. Oh, good. Not a single professional photographer on earth will ever disagree with anything I just said. Listen to your brain. Unless you've been stewing it in alcohol for the past 15 years, and in which case, it might not be working right. Catch you later. До свидания. Увидимся.